To record the first part of the session. All right, here we go. Let's join together and do a little cleansing. Yes, Carolina, I was just going to say, let's just do a little clearing together. So I am just going to ask to cleanse, clear, and balance our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits on all levels for our highest and best good. I just imagine that there's a blue-white light that's swirling around counterclockwise, and as it swirls around, it's pulling out at the root anything that doesn't serve you. So it just pulls it out, makes it just off it goes to the feet of God. I had a situation where when I was clearing, I felt ropes around somebody and it just dissolved. So we're going to just also dissolve away anything that's binding us that isn't in our highest and best good. So we're cleansing, clearing, and balancing. Heart, minds, body, and spirits. It feels so good. Hearts, minds, body, and spirits for our highest and best good. Just imagine that blue-white light swirling around you counterclockwise, clearing out everything that doesn't serve you, pulling things out at the root, dissolving any ropes that are binding, just sending everything to the feet of God that doesn't belong. Beautiful. I know I feel better. I hope you do too. All right, now we're just going to allow that light to switch directions. It switches and it goes clockwise, and it's a kind of a golden light now, and it fills all the spaces with love and light and blessing. So everything that was just removed and pulled out now is filled with love and light and blessing. And we're just going to add an extra layer of armor and protection and blessing for the container that we create today, so that anything that doesn't serve us just repels off and gets sent to the feet of God, where it can be transmuted into love. Fabulous. Now I'm just going to connect to all of you. Can I, man, shall I, do a collective reading for my Insight Timer friends and family, both those that are listening now and those that listen later? Yes. Is there any reason why I shouldn't at this moment of time? No, there's no reason why I shouldn't. Then I ask that everybody's intuition be raised to the highest level that they can accommodate with at this moment in time. Allow their souls to speak freely and clearly for everyone's highest and best good. All right, we're ready to begin. I apologize that I was not here last week or the week before. The week before I was sick, but the last week I was a volunteer soccer mom. I was helping with soccer and soccer registration. And so, yeah, it was, I wasn't able to be here because I was being a soccer mom. So sometimes family comes first. Actually, always family comes first. But all right, let me hear what I hear. First bit of messaging for today. Interesting, because this actually came up in a conversation with Jovita. I was asking about the blood moon and whatnot. And she was giving me some information. And one of the things that really stuck out is what I'm hearing right now, is that you are whole and complete exactly the way you are. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have goals or things we want to work on or things that we want to improve on or things that we want to get better. But to recognize that we are right now in this moment, this is the image I'm getting is like a ripe fruit. So just before that fruit is ripening, everything is like, helping it grow and whatnot. And then it's this like ripe fruit. And then what that fruit turns into, whether it's a snack or bird food or falls to the ground and ferments and makes seeds, whatever it does, doesn't matter. It's perfect and whole right in that moment. And that's what we are. We are that perfect, ripe fruit. What we do or become is extra. That's the bonus, what we do or become. But right now, and every right now, from like right now to right now to right now, we are always whole and complete. What it is possibility. What is to come or what is to be improved upon or grown or things like that, is bonus. That's the extra. If we're using the fruit analogy, which is what I'm getting, the fruit itself is perfect. If you have, let's say, a peach or an apple, the fruit itself is perfect on the vine or on the branch. What it ends up becoming, whether it's a snack or a fruit salad, or like I said, falling on the ground, fermented, becoming seeds, bird food, whatever, that's all extra. Right now, at this present moment, you are all perfect, whole, and complete. What I'm hearing as I struggle with that myself is I'm like, yeah, but there's this and there's this. I'm on this journey with you. What I'm hearing is that if we are focused only on the present moment as opposed to past or future, what I'm hearing is we get a different, the words I'm actually hearing are we get a different perspective of ourselves as the divine. Now, let me just unpack that because I'm not 100% certain what that means. If we're in the moment and we're not focused on past or future, we get connection and an understanding of ourselves as whole and complete and divine. Okay, because I'm asking, okay, help me unpack this. What I'm getting is that when we focus on the past, we can be given regret. We can be connecting to regret, and we can be connecting to resentment or loss or could have and should haves and would haves and whatnot when we're connecting to the past. When we're connecting to the future, we're looking at sort of the what ifs and the if onlys and one day I will. And it doesn't allow us to be focused in the present divine moment. Okay, so what I'm hearing is to tell you a story. I don't have a bucket list per se. When people say they have a bucket list, not that I'm opposed. If you have a bucket list, that's awesome. I don't have one. The reason why, sure, there's a couple things I'd like to do in my life, but the reason why I don't have a particular bucket list is because I feel like when I'm focused on my bucket list, what I want to do, I don't then celebrate what I am doing. So, for example, if on my bucket list is a trip to Machu Picchu in Peru, which, I wouldn't mind doing one day, is then if I go camping this summer, I am then comparing my camping to Machu Picchu. So it's like, well, I guess I can go camping and it's nice, but it's not Machu Picchu. It takes away the blessed joy of camping in that moment because I am focused on what it's not versus what it is. And so that's what I'm hearing is that if we focus on the fact that we are whole, perfect, and divine right now in this moment, and we're not focusing on the past, the regrets or the resentments, and we're not focusing on the future, the I wish or I'd like it to be different or if onlys, then it allows us to be open to the present moment. And what I just heard is that the present moment is pregnant with possibilities, that right now in this given moment, we have like a multiple amount of possible choices, what we can do, what we can think, what we can feel, what we can experience. I mean, in this given moment right now, at this moment in time, what I'm hearing is that the amount of possible choices we have, even right now, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm sitting here in my little home office talking to you guys, and even in this very moment, there are so many possibilities. I could focus on how many people are here. I could be focusing on donations. I could be focusing on the messaging. I could be focusing on something that's distracting me from outside. I have all of these possible choices of what I can choose to focus on. So right now, in this very moment, is pregnant with possibilities of where I can put my focus, of where I can choose to explore the present moment. And by being in the present moment, it what I'm hearing is it exponentially expands the possibilities. And by okay, I understand. So when we're focusing on the future, when we're thinking of all of, the I wishes and the maybe if possibles and whatnot, we falsely think that is opening up to possibilities. And in some ways it is. In some ways it totally is. Because we're, so many things could happen. We have no idea what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, let alone 5 years from now. So all kinds of possibility. But what I'm hearing is that that's a little bit false. And the actual infinite potential of possibility is in the present moment, in the moment right now. This is the moment that has infinite possibility. The future moments, those are what ifs. Those are possibilities. And yes, it's good to think that, anything's possible. But it's shifting that perspective to right now as opposed to what if or maybe in the future. Right now, there's an infinite amount of possibilities just simply by choosing what you're going to focus your attention and energy on. Even during this live, there might be one particular thing that you take away and that ends up changing the course of your week, or maybe there's just so many things. So what I'm hearing is focus on the present, the here and the now, and who you are right now is present, whole, and perfect, and full of infinite possibilities at this moment in time, even with limitations, even with, things that we're struggling with. There's an infinite amount of possibility right now at this moment in time, and that you're already whole and perfect the way you are. I think that's a fairly positive message. Time for a sip of tea. Awesome, Angela. You were a soccer coach, Mom. She started playing soccer last year and decided she wanted to continue. So we're doing it again this year, just the summer program. And Melinda, thank you. I appreciate that. I thought people might be worried that I was still sick. But no, it did take a while to get better. And good afternoon, John. Welcome. And welcome, Natasha. I miss saying hello to you. And Jamie, don't wish away the magic of today by wanting the magic of tomorrow. Exactly. Pretty much summarizes it. But the idea of this like bursting with possibility right now in this moment in time, I feel like I don't often think of this moment in time as being full of possibility. I often think of the future as full of possibility, and I don't always think of this moment in time as full of possibility. So that's interesting. All right, next bit of messaging. What do I hear? All right. So similar messaging, but a little bit different in that this has to do with our material surroundings and what we're kind of wanting or looking for. So the idea of manifesting, and I know this is something that I've been maybe struggling with a little bit, is we start thinking about what we want and that we want to manifest that. But the problem is, I think, and what I'm hearing is it's like, it's not what you think, it's the truth. Most people don't really know what they want. And so there's certain things, it's like, oh, I want, and the example is like a lottery. So there's a lottery. A friend of mine and I bought a ticket for a lottery, and it's like $70 million. And I was thinking to myself, what would I do if I won $70 million? And as much as I wouldn't complain, it would sure complicate things for a little bit, And not that I'm saying, I don't want that, but it's like, what would I do with the money? Like there's so many possibilities. How do we know what we want? And what I'm hearing is that instead of defining what you want specifically, like I want a house in the mountains or I want a whatever, what I'm hearing is put your orders in. That's the word I just heard. Like, when you are kind of stating what you want, put your orders in as more of something. So I would like more nature, maybe more travel, maybe more time or peace or whatever it is. And so focusing on what makes your soul happy, and then what would give you more of that. Because if you're focusing on the really specific, and for some people this works, so whatever, use your own advice and your own intuition on this. If manifesting, or you visualize something specific and it specifically happens, awesome, then keep doing that. But what I'm hearing is that for most people, visualizing, number one, is challenging. Number two, I'm hearing that most people don't truly know what they want. And I know for myself, I start going, well, how do I know that's in my highest and best good? What if that's not in my highest and best good? And I start second guessing myself. So what I'm hearing is give yourself the freedom. Okay, so what I just heard is give yourself the freedom for you and your guides to work together to manifest more of what lightens your soul. So if nature for me is something that lightens my soul, then I'm asking for more nature. I would like more nature. I would like to manifest more nature in my life. Now that might end up looking like me winning a bunch of money and buying a house in the country, or maybe that looks like having the time to access the walking trails that are near my house or whatever. So I'm asking for more nature. And so what I'm hearing is instead of being sort of specific, I want a house in the country. I mean, like I said, for some people that works. Try asking for more of what makes your soul happy. And then watch what happens, is what I'm hearing. Open your eyes and notice how you are getting more of what you've asked for. More time, more nature, more whatever it is. I'm hearing there's nothing wrong with setting goals. Okay. Okay, what I just heard, the words I just heard were the human condition is rife with disappointment. And that is true, in that often we set ourselves up with expectations, we set ourselves up with hopes and dreams, and then it doesn't happen and we kind of crash. It's like, yeah, I'm disappointed. This did not meet my expectations. We start a relationship, everything's wonderful, things don't quite work out. That did not meet my expectations. Start a new job, everything's great, it's all wonderful. Then things start to happen and it doesn't meet my expectations. So what I'm hearing, what the words I heard, are that the human condition is rife with disappointment. And so if you are open to the multitude, the word I'm hearing, the multitude of the multitude of possibility, if you're in tune to the multitude of possibility, as well as the things that truly make your heart, your soul sing, and allowing those to manifest in ways that are infinite possibilities, will help us to, being human, what I'm hearing is being human involves disappointment. It involves suffering. That's just part of being human. But we can mitigate, is the word, not eliminate, but mitigate some of the disappointment by setting open-ended expectations. It's funny because I'm kind of processing this myself and going, yeah, but how do I navigate setting a goal and wanting like a specific something to manifest and leaving it open-ended? But I do understand the feelings of those disappointments. I definitely get knocked off my rails when I suffer a setback or a disappointment, and so I get that mitigating some of that disappointment by leaving things a bit more open-ended. Okay, so now I'm going to read the chat because I feel like there's lots going on in the chat, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to say this first because this is what I just got. So I was at, we had a teachers convention just this last week, and I was at the conference, and I went and saw one of the speakers. Her name is Shelley Moore, and she's really fabulous as far as inclusive education, if you ever want to look her up. But she was talking about creating the conditions for acceptance and belonging, and was going quite in depth into how we can do this, as opposed to just including how do we celebrate these things. And what she was talking about was creating the conditions so that they're ripe for inclusion. And I just got given that story because that's what this is about. By being open to infinite possibility, and by focusing in on what you want more of, as opposed to it needs to be perfect like this, it allows us to create the conditions to allow those things to grow, to flourish, as opposed to specifically trying to change something into something else. So interesting. I'm working my own Nancy brain around this, the idea of asking for more of not what you want, more of what makes your soul light, asking for more of that, and then watching how that manifests. So the things that make your soul light, the things that make you light up, the things that make you elevate, the things that make you higher vibrational. So I'm getting all these things because I was struggling with understanding, what do you mean by more? Like, I know for me, more nature is always a thing, but now I'm understanding a little bit more. We're all about elevating our vibration. We're all about elevating our soul level vibration, and therefore, as we elevate our own vibrations, we elevate the vibration of everyone around us, as well as the entire planet. So if we are immersed in the things that elevate our vibration, that then elevates our vibration and causes that ripple effect. So when we ask for more of what elevates our vibration, we're open to the possibilities of what that can look like. But we're actually, this is what I'm hearing, we're actually connecting to that vibration of more. We're already connecting to that vibration of that possibility. And so we already start to elevate. Whereas what I'm feeling when we think about a specific, I want a house in the country, it actually feels limiting. Now, that said, if there's something specific you want to manifest, then if there is something very specific you want to manifest, the idea, my understanding, and I'm just going to check this with, the focus and the energy and the picturing and the recognizing that it exists in a different timeline, and it's just a matter of making it happen, is all powerful practice. But if that's not where you are, and you just want to elevate your vibration, and you just want to stay kind of in that elevated state, and maybe you don't have specific that you want, you can still manifest just by simply asking for more of what makes your heart light and your heart sing. What I just heard is making manifesting accessible for everybody, because the speaker I was just talking about was talking about accessibility and allowing understanding that everybody comes at something from a different perspective in different ways and different neurodiversities and This is manifesting 101 without one size fits all. Manifesting doesn't have to look the same for everybody. And if the manifesting teachings that you're looking at aren't working for you, try the idea of just simply asking for more. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to read the chat here. Dun, dun, dun. I've heard that you need to be somewhat specific. As an example, more nature could be hurricanes or tornadoes. Yes, I suppose if we just ask for more nature, but if you're coming at it from that place of what makes your heart sing and what makes your soul light and what elevates your vibration, tornadoes and hurricanes aren't the nature I'm asking for more of. I'm asking for more nature like the walking in a trail in a BC forest or dipping my toes in the ocean. And so I think it's about focusing on the things, not just a blanket, I want more nature, but tapping into that heart space, I think is important. And I don't know if I said that. I was feeling that, but I don't know if I clarified that. So I appreciate that, Melinda. So it has to come from that elevated heart space. What about more nature elevates your heart, and elevates your soul? Jovita, asking for more equals leaving all channels of opportunities wide open. If you're worried about negative outcomes, you can add for the highest and best good of all. Absolutely. I love that, Jovita. I tend to do that all the time, for the highest, best good, or at this moment in time. Yeah, absolutely. John, non-attachment. Yes, that's exactly when I read that. Absolutely. That's what this is about. It's like not attaching to the outcome, but being open to receiving, and that duality of that, understanding non-attachment, but open to abundance. I love it. Jenny, I was talking to a friend today about intuition. How sometimes you don't see that you're getting what you asked for because it didn't come in the form and shape you expected. Absolutely, Jenny, that's exactly what I was hearing, is that I appreciate that you guys are articulating, because I don't know that I'm saying everything that I'm hearing as I'm hearing it, but that's exactly it. Because that disappointment, if you're like, I want, house in the country, but what you're really asking for is more time and space to spend in nature, and the house in the country doesn't happen, but you've managed to go on a trip where you went hiking or whatever, then you're not, it's like the Machu Picchu camping example. You're focusing on, well, I don't have my house in the country. You don't notice all the beautiful nature opportunities that are coming to you in different ways. And so it allows you to celebrate that. Absolutely. Interesting. Never heard about the more request. I can't say I've really explored the idea of asking for more this way either. When I ask for anything specific, I add thank you for this and more. Awesome. That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you for this and more. It does sound like this could be a book. Chanting more at different tones and depths is also beneficial when manifesting. Very powerful. Okay, I didn't even know about that, Alicia. I'd actually like to hear a little bit more about that, because I'm hearing that when we get locked into one single tunnel vision, we don't see all the other beautiful things that are coming. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that a practice that we can try. It's so funny because often I hear that, like, when I'm hearing the words, it'll come out as humans are. So I sometimes wonder, like, okay, if I'm channeling our souls and our information, where's the, like, what's non-human about what I'm channeling? Anyway, what I heard just now was that humans are limited in our scope of where we see what's actually happening. I don't know how to phrase that properly, but humans don't always see what's actually happening. We miss things. We see what we want to see. And so if we're focusing on scarcity and lack, we're going to see scarcity and lack. What I'm hearing is a practice that's being given to us right now is to actually jot down, if there's something like, let's say, more nature. I'll just use that as an example because I've been using that all along. If I was to keep a little journal and actually write down every sort of nature experience that I'm being offered, whether it's, oh, I had an extra 5 minutes, so I went for a walk before or during my lunch break or something like that. Oh, I had a little bit of extra outside time. Whatever it was, to like a trip where you're hiking. But if you actually jot down how many things, and I'm hearing that you can do this for abundance too, for finances, even if it's like I found a dime. We take for granted if you find a dime. A dime doesn't necessarily feel like much, but if you start to keep track of every kind of little bit that's coming to you, all of a sudden you'd realize how much is being given to you all the time. But when we're focusing on sort of what we don't have, or the end goal, we might miss all that, because what I'm hearing is human perception is limited to what we want to see. And so open ourselves up to, if there's something we want more of, open ourselves up to how many different little ways that comes to us all the time, and being aware of that. I feel like the deepest wish isn't always clear intellectually, but when you ask for something, this is what the universe will hear, what is in your heart. 100%. That makes sense. And I feel like as I'm saying this about the more, it really is about that elevated spirit. What gives you an elevated spirit, right? Because, you know, it's not always what we think, or what we think it's going to look like. So fabulous. All right. I feel like I have to do some reflecting on that. I am trying to drink more water. I bought myself a beautiful water bottle at the convention by a local artist, Lorraine Sholba. So I met the artist. I always try to buy one thing when I'm at a conference or convention that comes from somebody that made it. So that was my one purchase this year. All right. I think, let me just check. Is there any other collective wisdom for today? No, we're going to move on into